Call this meeting of the Zion City Council to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Frierson? Commissioner Frierson?
Here.
Commissioner McDowell?
Here.
Commissioner Holmes?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Fisher?
Here.
Mayor McKinney?
Here.
Agenda changes. Are there any agenda changes for the council? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Frierson?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fisher?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye.
Citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments today?
Yes, sir.
Please introduce yourself. And
Hi, my name is Ken Langley. I'm the senior pastor at Christ Community Church. I have been a citizen of Zion for 23 years. I've been to many city council meetings to open your sessions with a word of prayer, but never until today have I come to do a citizen comment. I have resisted the temptation to sneak my opinions into my prayers. That really is a temptation for us preachers, but this is actually, I think, the first time that I have come to give you my opinion on something. If today or any time in the near future the council should be discussing our city's response to the virus situation, I would just ask that you be very, very slow to impose strict measures on our people. I have no experience in government, but I have been a pastor for 40 years, and I think I know a thing or two about human nature. And people don't like to be told what to do. Americans in particular love our freedoms, and I think that most of us are willing to restrict our freedoms voluntarily for a short period of time and in a crisis. But when the heavy hand of government tries to impose restrictions that are at least seen to be unreasonable, I think they can be counterproductive. I give you one example of what I have in mind, then one brief story, and then I'm done, except that Commissioner McDowell did suggest that maybe I could pray, as I'm used to doing when I come here. The example I have in mind is reading in the news today that the mayor of Chicago has said that citizens there may not take long bike rides or long walks. I don't know who in government, federal, state, or local, is competent to decide when a walk or a bike ride has become too long. That seems above everybody's pay grade. And I can tell you that if Zion commissioners were to impose a rule like that, I would likely be one of your first guests in lockup asking for 3 square meals a day. I just think that we tend to resist being told what to do if it isn't absolutely necessary. The true story. Years ago, a developer built a hotel on the Gulf of Mexico in Texas, and right on the water, so close that they put signs up in the windows of the hotel, no fishing out of hotel windows. But it didn't work. People on the lower floors would hear a tap at their window, and there would be a lure or a weight on a fishing line banging against their window. And they weren't sure what to do about this problem, but then the solution presented itself. They took all the signs off the windows. Turns out nobody had ever thought about fishing from a hotel window until they put a sign up, no fishing from a hotel window. You can, when I say you, I mean anybody in elected office can impose regulations and may put ideas in people's heads, may actually be counterproductive. So I'm just going to pray that God will help you all to be wise, and instead of telling you what I'm going to pray, let me just pray.
please do.
Heavenly Father, these public servants do not have an easy job, and it's likely to get harder if some of the predictions of the medical experts prove to be true in the next couple of weeks. And all of us, public officials, pastors, ordinary citizens are all going to need patience with one another, a measure of humility, especially when we may disagree with steps that are taken. We need to be measured in our response. We need to be prudent, for sure. We need to be free from fear. And, of course, there are other aspects to public life besides our response to the virus, and I guess the council will be talking about some of those things too. Help us to have enough perspective and stamina left over to handle other aspects of life and responsibility besides responding to this unprecedented challenge that we're facing. Thank you for listening. Thank you that you care even more than we do about good, healthy civic life. And so we can be assured that we have your ear as we pray in your Son's name. Amen. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Pastor. Discussion, authorization, and approval. Item A, consider approval of health, dental, and life insurance per Administrator Naval.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. First off, the reason that we have this special meeting today is we have a couple of things that are just time sensitive that are part of city operations. The health insurance renewal being one of them. It's a May 1st renewal date, and they need about a 30-day lead time to be able to get all the paperwork signed, to get the open enrollment going and everything. So we wanted to try and give them as much time as possible, especially with people working from home. It might take a little longer, but so what we have on here is the renewal assurance agency. Our brokers went out to market for us for our health insurance, our dental, and our life insurance. Actually came back as very favorable. Initially, Blue Cross came back with a 3.89% increase in our premiums. Assurance, as they do on our behalf, went back and forth with them, tried to negotiate it down, went through specific claims histories. There might have been some large claims where the employee is no longer with us or it's a one-time thing. They basically go back and forth. The revised renewal, it's actually on page 7 of the slides on the handout. The revised renewal came back actually at a 0.07% decrease from prior year. Now that they break it down into categories of single plus one, single plus child, and family. Family increase. Family rate increased, single went down, so there's a blended component there, but essentially it came out to an overall rate decrease of 0.07%, which was great for us. You can see on page 10 where they went out to market and who proposed and who did not, but this was the best proposal out of them. What assurance included in here is the initial renewal, which is on page 11 and 12, and then actually the revised renewal, which is starts at page 13. The only change to coverage was the individual out-of-pocket and family out-of-pocket for out-of-network went up slightly compared to what we were at. That's because they no longer. We got a notice back in February saying that the plan that we had was no longer an offered plan.
Right.
So once we looked at that and they came back to us, that was the effect, saying this is the out-of-network, out-of-pocket change. So it went from $2,500 individual out-of-pocket to $3,750, and for family it went from $7,500 to $11,250, but the in-network remained unchanged. The other column there is for our HSA option. We offer an HSA option. There's currently nobody on it, nobody taking advantage of it, but we continue to offer it. We're looking to potentially market that and push that as a cost savings measure going forward to convert employees over to that option. We did that with the fire department when we carved them out and they went into their own pool. They went into an HSA option where I think the majority, if not all of the employees over there are under the HSA in the pool. So it's definitely a change for people to get used to a different way. So we're hoping that we can utilize the fire department employees when we do the city's plan to say, yes, this is good for you, especially after retirement, if you can build up money. But essentially, good news on our plan, good news for our budget, as we were kind of looking at a 5% increase and hoping that it wouldn't be more than that. It's actually essentially a flat rate. So I would recommend approval. As far as dental and health, Dental came through as a flat renewal, no change in the rate. And life, and life insurance, we're actually under a rate guarantee until through April of 21. So there was no change there. We'll get quotes on those both again next year. So I would recommend the approving renewal with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then our dental and life insurance providers, which is through Dearborn for life, and then through Guardian for our dental, as presented and recommended by Assurance.
So the change in deductible, is that acceptable to all the bargaining units? Did they?
In deductible,
Yeah. Is there a change?
there's no change in deductible except under the HSA option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff that was in red and that was changes was under the HSA,
Okay.
which nobody is on currently. So the only change to the regular plan was in those out-of-pocket maximums out of network. Everything else remained the same.
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion from Mayor McKinney or Commissioner Frierson?
None. None. Mayor McKinney, none.
No discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Frierson,
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell,
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fisher,
Aye.
Mayor McKinney,
Aye.
Item B, consider approval of intergovernmental agreement between the Illinois Department of Healthcare and Family Services and the City of Zion per Administrator Nabel.
I'm actually going to pass that off. This was set up not knowing who we were going to necessarily have at this meeting. I'll pass that off to Chief Lewis.
So you might remember back in October, we entered into an intergovernmental agreement with the Illinois Department of Health Care and Family Services as part of the ground emergency response transport. In a nutshell, what the program does or hopes to do is provide us with funding between what we normally charge for ambulance rates and what Medicare actually pays for ambulance rates. So this has been a very successful program in other states. Illinois is just getting into it. We were supposed to start getting funding January 1st of this year. We received an email a couple of weeks ago, give or take, basically saying that the Human and Family Services is now taking a closer look at this and they want to revise the IGA. So looking at the IGA, what really changed was the section on payment. So they're basically taking out the middleman. And I don't have the old one in front of me, but in the past, I think it's section, section 3.01 is where the change was. My copy looks a little different than the one I had earlier, but basically it went from us, went to the state, and then went to what they call medical providers. They're cutting the medical providers out now, and it goes from us directly to the state, and then the state pays us. So it's just a procedural change in that how the money's going to be filtered back and forth. I would recommend we still go ahead and sign this. It's actually due March 31st is why we had to get it done. So if we decide we want to participate, I would go ahead and sign it and let's move forward with it. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. I mean, that's either we're going to get money or we're not going to get money. That's kind of how you got to look at it.
Is there a motion?
Frierson, I'll make that motion to approve the updated IGA.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Frierson,
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell,
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fisher,
Aye.
Mayor McKinney,
Aye.
Item C, consider approval of extension amendment of master power supply agreement per Administrator Nabel.
Thank you. At the last council meeting, we approved going forward with the electrical aggregation program with the initial rates and quotes that were provided to us, and agreed to go forward participating in the green energy program that would be at ComEd's rates with a 25% civic contribution towards green energy and a civic contribution of $129,462, which the city will get as participating in this program. This is just the actual approval of the agreement, solidifying those terms and those rates. So I would recommend that we approve the extension of the master power supply agreement as presented with Elego Energy as discussed at the prior council meeting.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Just a question, David. Do we have in mind what we'll do with the civic contribution?
That has not. I think we discussed a little bit about potentially some ideas of using it, but it is an unrestricted use that will probably be now part of our budget discussions when we have our budget workshops on how to utilize that.
Mayor McKinney, Commissioner Frierson, do you have any other comments?
No questions. No questions. No questions, Member Kitty or Commissioner Fryerson.
All right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Frierson?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fisher?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye.
Item D, consider approval of agreement with Blackboard for emergency notification services with the City of Zion per Administrator Nabel.
Thank you again. In the past, we had a software, an emergency notification system named Code Red that people could sign up, individuals could sign up for to get emergency notifications. We used it for mosquitoes, for anything from mosquito spraying to weather issues, things of that nature. The chief and I have been working with Blackboard on getting that basically back in place. We cut it because of financial reasons. We're bringing it back because we realized that the savings was not justifying the lack of being able to communicate with the public, especially under the current situation that we're facing as far as potential need for emergency notification. So we decided to put it on here to accelerate the process with Blackboard to try and get this back up and running. In discussions with the JetSpeed, the Joint Emergency Board, the E911 Board, they will be covering half of this cost. The remaining 50%, which we're looking at about $6,000 or $7,000, will be part of our general fund budget going forward. The old system was, I think, $12,500, which was all covered by the emergency fund, the E911 fund in the past, because that's primarily what we used it for. But we figure even at the $6,000 or $7,000 cost to us, this is a necessary service and software that we need to be able to provide to our residents. So I would recommend the approval of the agreement with Blackboard as presented.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the agreement with Blackboard for emergency notification system. This is Commissioner Fryerson.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Are we talking about
This is
3-year
Commissioner
term?
Fryerson. Did they talk about what technology they use?
It's just a cloud platform. So you have the ability to do it from a PC. This is Chief Lewis, by the way, not David. You have the ability to access it from cell phone, from PC, and it's basically a cloud platform that you'll log in. Once you set it, then it goes to their service, and it just dials out to all the data they have in their, or phone numbers in their database.
So will residents have to register?
We haven't gotten that far with this one. From the little talks that I've had with them, initially they're not going to have to register. They go off the national database for phone numbers. In Code Red, we did it two ways. They did it with the national database, and then they also had an opportunity to register separate phones. So I haven't gotten that far into talks with with Blackboard until we signed the agreement. But they do go off the national database, but I'm sure there's going to be some local registration because you may want a cell phone put on there. The different businesses may want their phone put on there, so there'll probably be those options as well.
So it doesn't include cell phones with the National Registry?
I believe your national registries just go off your home phone. That, last time we did this with Code Red, that was back in 2011.
Yeah.
So 9 years later, those things could have changed.
Yeah. I would imagine that most of our residents use cell phones
Right.
rather than landline phones.
Yeah.
And the reason that we decided to dispense with the code red was budgetary.
Yeah, so in whatever 2015 or whatever year we started, Zion Solutions was giving us a $12,000 a year donation
Yeah.
to cover it. And in 2017 or 18, whenever we stopped it, 2017 they stopped doing that, and that was we were going through the budget crunch, and we figured it wasn't worth it at the point,
Yeah.
and so we stopped. And now the Jetsby, the way Gurney does it, Gurney Jetsby pays for, using Gurney as an example, they pay for a portion of it, and then each department that uses Blackboard pays their own portion. So we made a deal with them that they'll just pay 50%, we'll pay 50%.
And Chief Lewis, this is Commissioner Firestone again. So they're going to cover it for all 3 years, right? They're covering the 50%. Is that correct?
Correct.
So that's $6,000 a year that's coming from the-
Jetsby.
Thank you.
If we approve this, then this is not going to be something that we can cut from the budget because we've just signed a contract.
Correct.
I mean, that's really my only consideration is budgetary. Would it be great to have something like this? Absolutely. Just, I know what we're facing with our budget. And $6,000 doesn't sound like a lot, but on the other hand, it is. So.
That's understandable. Those are the debates we had.
With the donations coming back in from the commissioners, I'm sorry, this is Commissioner Firestone. I think with the donations coming back in from the commissioners, I think, you know, if it really came down to a real budget crunch, this is something that is, especially with current times in front of us, is something that we actually need to have so we can actually notify citizens properly within the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a huge benefit to be able to communicate with everybody. I just want to know if we're going to be locking ourselves in.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah, for 3 years.
Any further discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fisher?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye.
Last item on the agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
There is motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fisher? Mayor McKinney?
Aye.
Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen.